It was a day full of cosmic excitement. At around 11:30 a.m. Polish time, the Dragon capsule with a Polish astronaut on board splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California. It was the middle of the night in America, but regardless of the time zone, the whole world was watching the return of the Axiom 4 mission participants, which we also showed live on TV Republica. The capsule entered the Earth's atmosphere at a tremendous speed, over 27,000 kilometers per hour, and at an altitude of 80 kilometers above the ground. The capsule began to slow down and rub against the atmosphere. Astronauts always feel G-forces, and these G-forces are very unpleasant for the body, but also not entirely healthy. Therefore, after such a return, each astronaut usually has to undergo basic medical examinations.
Musi przejść podstawowe badania lekarskie.
Return from the International Space Station, entry into the Earth's atmosphere, a spectacular splashdown preceded by the enormous deceleration of billionaire Elon Musk's Dragon capsule, which slows down to a speed of 20 kilometers per hour to safely hit the water surface. A special ship and a team of scientists and doctors were waiting for the astronauts. Everything was planned down to the millimeter and second.
It is exactly where Dragon is expected to land, with recovery teams pre-positioned in the area. These teams are trained to quickly make contact with the Dragon spacecraft, secure it, and then hoist it aboard the main recovery vessel.
Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski of Poland.
The Pole left the capsule on his own, looking very well, as if almost 3 weeks in space had not made much of an impression on him. But what is most impressive is the work he did there: 13 scientific experiments, educational research, and online meetings with pupils and students. The International Space Station is an amazing laboratory in orbit, and I hope that we Poles will visit such places more and more often. The Pole worked on researching artificial intelligence, oxygen production, and food production in space, among other things. This is invaluable knowledge that he brought back to Earth.
Przywozi przede wszystkim ze sobą wyniki 13 eksperymentów.
First and foremost, he is bringing back the results of 13 experiments. We now have a lot of work ahead of us, because we have to analyze all the data that Sławomir brought back with him. Just as he had to pack his belongings from the International Space Station into the spacecraft, he now has to unpack them. And I am thinking not only about his personal belongings, but also all the data, the results of the experiments, and the experiments themselves.
Ale też o tych wszystkich danych, wynikach eksperymentów i fizycznie samych eksperymentach.
It is important that these experiments, results, and space experiences serve us all.
Mam nadzieję, że Polska...
I hope that Poland, Polish universities, and Polish companies will have all the material rights to the experiments and the results of the experiments, so that these companies or universities can commercialize them in the future, bring them to market, and of course make money. Poland paid 65 million euros for this mission, from Polish taxes, from the pockets of Polish taxpayers. And it would be good if at least some of that money returned to the budget.
Z tych pieniędzy ponownie wróciła do budżetu.
Dr. Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski's space mission is coming to an end, but this is not the end of his journey, although the next ones will be a little more down to earth, so to say. California, Houston, Texas, and tomorrow Cologne, Germany.
Potem czeka go 7 dni.
Then he will undergo 7 days of quarantine, which will be combined with several medical tests. Let's hope for a happy return to Warsaw, which we are planning for the morning of July 23rd. For the past nearly 3 weeks, not only a Pole, but also Polish technology and science have been in space. Welcome back to Earth, wrote Polish President Andrzej Duda on the X portal. It was with deep admiration and pride that we watched your work on the International Space Station, where you carried out experiments prepared also by Polish scientists. We are particularly grateful for the educational activities you conducted on this occasion. Thank you for your trust. I also hope that the mission has brought a lot of good to Poland, space, Polish science, and Polish technology, at least in terms of recognition.
Część rozpoznawalności.
It is worth conquering space and reaching for the stars, to later stand firmly on the ground.